Hello everybody and welcome to today's yoga journey. I am Sonia and today I'm going to do a fairly short standing sequence. Just get everything moving, perhaps let go of some tension, and hopefully just feel good for whatever is next in your day. So let's go ahead and start in a mountain pose. So taking a couple of moments to build your mountain pose. Find your feet firmly planting you on the ground, giving you a nice stable feeling, rooted feeling, grounded. And from that place, just sort of with your mind's eye, build the rest of your body, stacking your bones, looking for length, looking for space, looking to feel strong, yet softening into that strength. And being still once you feel like you've built your mountain pose, just like a mountain would be. It's still and majestic, and yet inside it's vibrantly alive. And so starting to tune into your vibrant aliveness, your breath. Start taking those nice, slow, full, deep breaths. If it's comfortable for you, both in and out of the nose. And just feel that breath, maybe even hear that breath. Feel it filling your entire shape, every one of your cells, every one of your systems, every layer that is you. And we're going to strive to stay with this breath, just really continuing to energize all of our systems, all of our layers as we move. So let's go ahead and start with just a few nice sweeping arm movements, starting to come into nice big full body reachy stretch on the inhale, and exhale to bring those hands back down. One more like that. And then we will continue those arms, but we're going to go ahead and add a heel lift. So coming up onto the balls of your toes, you're even taller, even more spacious. Your feet, your Achilles, your calves, appreciate that stretch. A few more like that. It's really seeing if you can start matching your movement with your breath. Waking everything up, energizing everything. Last one like that. See if you're able to hold at the top for a couple of moments, a couple of breaths. Softening into any straining. And then let those heels and hands float back down. Pause in that nice, majestic mountain place. From here, we're going to go ahead and bring the arms halfway up. And our inhales, we'll take those arms back, stick our hearts out, wring out shoulder tension. And as we exhale and bring those hands out in front of us, we'll actually take those hands down towards the floor. And they may not come anywhere near the floor, and that's not the goal. You're reaching and stretching the backs of your legs and starting to wake up the back. So finding your rhythm with that. Inhaling to open up, exhaling to start rounding down into a gentle back bend or a forward fold. Big breath. Big and slow. So really seeing if you can find that long, slow, controlled breath, and then match that energy with your movement. So your movement is also slow and you feel every part of it. Feel where the tight spots are. Feel how just moving and breathing can facilitate moving some of that out. We're going to do one more like that, slightly longer hold in the open place. Breathe for a couple of moments there. Lift that heart and then move back down to that forward fold. Letting go and holding there. So as you hold it, you sink a little deeper into that release pose. Maybe your knees would like to bend, so you can really let that back and spine and head go.
Once you've released that torso into a ragdoll kind of mode, maybe you find there's room to start re-straightening the legs. Just really listen to your body. We're not looking to add strain, we're looking to let go. Perhaps gently nod the head, yes, and then perhaps no, getting some tension out of the neck, and also perhaps ask yourself, what are we saying yes to? What are you saying no to? Let everything come back to center, start planting those hands, and let's walk our feet back, making our way towards a downward dog. Really just opening up into that, maybe wiggling around in it if it's feeling like there's tight spots that would appreciate that. Just really tuning into where you're holding on and where you could just help kind of loosen it up, wiggle it out of your body in that nice gentle way. Once you've got your wiggles out, settling into the full strength and integrity of your downward dog. Long legs, long arms, long torso, long neck, and a few more of those nice long slow breaths in that place. Let's go ahead and float towards a plank pose, shoulders over wrists, reaching back through those heels, shoulders towards the hips, breathing here. We're going to float back and forth from our plank to our down dog in that same slow, controlled way, looking for a feeling of fluidity and grace in your movement, yet you're tapping into that strength and power inside of yourself. Bring that into each part of yourself just by using that breath, filling all the shapes that your body's moving through. And last time into that down dog, really sink into it nice and deeply, and then let those knees come to the floor, and we'll sink back into a child's pose for a moment. Feel those nice big breaths. Rising back up through that all fours, building that downward dog again. And let's make our way back to that forward fold, either stepping your feet or jumping your feet and grabbing the elbows this time so that you can move around in it a little bit. Just literally exploring where you've got freedom of movement. Maybe it's wiggling your hips, maybe it's sort of alternating, bending and straightening the legs. Maybe it's more of a torso swinging from right to left. Maybe it's a combination of all of it. Just kind of tuning into where can you find a little bit of release. Breathing. Stopping all those wiggles and releasing those elbows and making your way to a halfway up place where your back is nice and flat and strong. Your legs are also strong. If you need to have the bend here, allow it. Your priority is that nice long flat back. If your hands don't comfortably reach the floor, you could use your shins or your thighs or a prop. And we're going to go ahead and come into some nice twists. So you'll take one arm up, very deeply bend the opposite knee. We're going to go from side to side, coming back to an energizing, flowy type of movement. So inhaling, arm up, and exhaling it down. And we are alternating arms. And as you do so, remember to alternate the knees. Get that breath matching your movement, slow, deep, and controlled. Energizing you, releasing tension from wherever it might be holding itself. Wonderful. Let's do one more. Whichever side is next is perfect. And as you come back to center, re-lengthen and then fall down into one last forward fold. Letting go. Surrendering, soft spine, heavy head, mental tension gets to drip away here. And then let's make our way back up to standing, rolling that spine and building that mountain pose again. Pausing there, just feeling that stillness, yet that majestic aliveness inside of you. And maybe now it's buzzing with a little bit more obviousness that you can feel. Let's go ahead and move into some side bends. So we'll bring those arms overhead and you can either interlace keep the hands touching, or you can have them separate, whatever feels better for your shoulders. But wherever you keep them, try to keep them there and just start swaying from right to left. If your hands are separated, you could perhaps imagine that you're holding a beach ball, or maybe it's a ball of light, but something that you're kind of holding steady so that it helps keep your shoulders steady as well. Thinking of the breathing rhythm being inhaling to center and exhaling to your side bend. A few more, really focusing on that breath. Feeling yourself filling these new shapes, these new areas that we're opening up. Last one. And back up to center. One really nice reachy, heart-opening stretch. And hands down by our sides. A few shoulder rolls. Just getting those kinks out of the shoulders. You tend to carry the weight of the world there, so just help that fall away. And back to your mountain. Let's move into some nice, powerful chair poses. So feet either together or about hip width apart. Arms will come overhead again. Nice extended mountain. And as you start to sink into your chair, make sure those feet stay nice and firmly planted and reach those arms back. And then bring those arms back in line with your ears, and then press into those strong, powerful legs to your extended mountain. So you've kind of got three poses. You've got your extended mountain, big breath. Exhale to sink into your chair. Breathe there for one inhale. Exhale to sweep the arms back. Inhale back into your chair and press up. So kind of finding your rhythm without rushing. Tune into feeling strong and powerful, yet ringing out wherever you might be holding. You can tap into some pretty deep spots as we move through these more powerful moments. Striving for that nice duality of you're strong, you're powerful, and yet there's a softness to it because of your nice, smooth breath. Last round, we will pause in the last chair. So come down through the little reach back, bring out those shoulders, hands or arms come up by the ears, and pause. Just breathe that power for a couple of moments. Press into those legs, nice big full body reach, maybe a little back bend as you lift your heart and eyes to the sky, and then hands come down back into your mountain pose. Let's go ahead and come into some wider legs. You want to find your ability to sink down into a nice horse squat, goddess squat, whatever we like to call it. Just really opening up through that pelvic floor, powering up those inner thighs. So let's bring arms into this. So we're nice big shining stars. Sink into the legs and the arms come to 90 degrees. In and out of that a few times. Get that nice breath matching movement rhythm going. See if you can soften your face even though you're in strength and power mode. Last sinking in,
A little bit of a hold. Maybe see if there's any room to wiggle a little bit. Just kind of looking for that freedom of movement, even in the strongest, most intense moments. Rising back out, leave the arms, turn the feet so that they are parallel to each other, and swan dive forward really slowly into a place where your hands can come to the floor. And again, maybe it's a prop, maybe it's your shins, but you're looking for that nice flat back. Breathing there for a moment, just feeling all the opportunity for stretch and strength. Maybe tune into your feet, see if they feel nice and planted so that you feel nice and grounded and stable. And then let's go ahead and come into some nice twisting action. Again, we'll come into that moving with our breath rhythm, inhaling the arm up, exhaling it down. And we are alternating sides, looking for that slow, controlled rhythm that has a nice calming quality for you, for your mind, your emotions, and yet you're strengthening and energizing. Let's do one more on each side. Once you've done those two sides and you find yourself at center, re-lengthen into it and then let go into it. Back rounds, head falls, arms go wherever they make sense for you. And just have a nice surrendering, letting go moment for the mind, for the spine, the back muscles. Anytime we're upside down, it's a nice moment to change our perspective a little bit. So just maybe pontificating that. And then slowly starting to make your way back towards upright, feet coming back towards one another. And let's play with a little bit of balance to end our nice energizing flow. So we're going to essentially come into 3 balance poses. One will be to simply bring your foot off the floor, knee coming however high it's comfortable. It could be down here, it could be way up there, maybe somewhere in the middle. Second pose will be to straighten that leg, and again, maybe it's down here. And then your third pose will to take that long leg and reach it behind you while your torso begins to hinge forward. And again, maybe it's fairly low to the ground, maybe it's higher. Just kind of play with where you're at. You're more so looking for some nice fluid balance as you transition from those 3 poses, thinking about a rhythm where each one has its own breath. And if you feel like balance is a struggle for you today, maybe hold on to something, whether it's a piece of furniture, a wall, or whoever's hanging out with you. You could add some arms to this. You know, maybe they come out like airplane wings, maybe they're out in front of you. Just kind of make it be your own. Kind of dancing with your breath and your balance. Last one. And as we come into this last one, let's reach that leg back. Here we are in our warrior 3 or some variation of that. And let's step that foot behind us, building for a lunge. So heels reaching back, foot's getting a nice stretch. Front knee, as we sink into it, we want to make sure it safely lines up over that front heel. Really open up through that hip flexor. Release anything that might be holding in there. If you feel stable enough, arms come up. We're going to sink in and out of this a few times. Just straightening that front leg and then sinking back into it. Get that breath going. Nice big inhale as we become long
And nice, long, slow exhale as we sink into that power and that pelvic stretch and release. One last one. Let's bring both hands down towards the inside of that front foot. Again, maybe you prefer a prop. And we're going to take one twist here. So we will do both sides. So just taking up whichever arm you feel inclined to take up first. Take a breath. Exhale to bring that hand down and open up the other way. Making your way down and stabilizing those feet and rising back up and straightening that leg, lowering the arms and hopping those feet back together. Maybe it's a moment to wiggle out the kinks, settling back into a brief mountain pose. Tuning back into your breath if you've lost it, and tuning into that feeling of being stable and grounded and balanced as you start moving into your second leg. Those three balancing postures with the fluid dynamic balance in between as you transition from one to the other. So moving with grace and balance. And just like before, you could choose to move your arms, or maybe you want to hold them on your hips to help you feel more stable, or maybe they're busy holding onto a chair. Find that breath. We're going to do one more round. And as you step back into that last warrior three, stepping that foot back behind you, building for your lunge. Taking a moment to get your feet in just the right place, sinking that pelvis towards the earth, and then reaching up. Breathing, and once you found that breathing rhythm, you'll use the inhales to press those feet into the floor, reach into the sky. Exhale, sink into those powerful legs. Really release that hip flexor. One more. Sink in for a little bit of a hold. You're strong, you're stable, you're grounded. Maintain that stability in the legs as you bring the hands down to the inside of that front foot. One twist on each side. Big breath. Gracefully switch sides. Once you're recentered, find that grounded, strong feeling. Rise up. Straighten that leg. Hands come down. And we hop the feet back together. Pause in that mountain pose for a moment. Feel that energy circulating through all parts of you. Let it nourish you, give you the exact form of energy that you need for whatever is next in your day. Take a few more of those nice calming breaths so that we have that duality of we're charged up, we're energized, and yet there's a peaceful calmness to it. Let's go ahead and take one last sweeping arm movement, just reaching up, nice and centered, nice and grounded, open in our hearts. And let's bring those palms together and slide them down to those open hearts and pause there. And just give yourself a moment to honor yourself.
connect to your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Feel your breath. Feel your body. And namaste. We're going to call that good. I hope to see you again, and I hope